Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 4:38 a.m. on this Monday evening going into Tuesday morning. Well, I guess it actually is Tuesday morning already. And it is 32 degrees outside. And we are on the cusp of a supposed winter storm that is supposed to hit Indianapolis on Wednesday. Now, you know how I am. So you know I'm excited about a winter storm that's going to keep us inside as long as everybody is safe. I started seeing stuff about this today and on Twitter, and then Alex texted me from work today, and he was like, did you know we're supposed to get a winter storm on Wednesday? And I was like, yeah, I saw that we're supposed to. I thought it said that we were just supposed to get like a mix of snow and sleet, but apparently we're supposed to get up to 8 to 12 inches of snow. Alex said 12 inches, up to 12 inches of snow, which I'm just going to tell you in Indianapolis terms means we'll probably get an inch of snow and rain. So I'm not getting my hopes up too much, but I would be very, very excited if we got a winter storm. Alex has already, he and all of the people that he works with, they were like preparing to, like if we do get a winter storm on Wednesday, to not have to come back in the rest of the week. Which, this is the thing in Indianapolis, it's like, if there's a winter storm, or if there's a lot of snow, it'll hold the city down for a couple hours, but literally by the next morning, everybody's back to work and school and stuff like that, typically. But I got real excited today. I was like, oh, you're going to stay home on Thursday and Friday? He was like, well, that's the plan if the weather's bad. And so we were laying in bed tonight, and I was telling Boo and Tucker, I was like, Dad's going to be home on Thursday and Friday, and we're all going to be hanging out together doing stuff. They got real excited. So Alex was like, he was going to go to the grocery store on the way home tonight to get snacks and stuff to have around the house. But he ended up not going. And then Tanya tonight told me that she went to the Meijer. She called me and I was like in bed getting ready to go to sleep. And she told me that she went to the Meijer and there was like nothing there. Because like everybody freaks out, you know, and they go to the grocery store and they buy bread and milk. And then they're stuck with bread and milk for weeks. I brought 2 glasses tonight, 2 huge cups of water because I'm so thirsty tonight. I woke up, so I went to bed at like 10 o'clock and set my alarm for 11, and I was going to get up and vlog, and I was going to listen to a bunch of my audiobook tonight, which I am like so behind on my audiobooks. I don't know how I'm going to finish Interview with a Vampire and Bonnie and Clyde this week for the book club. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. I think what I'm going to do is, I think tomorrow I'm going to listen to as much of Interview with the Vampire. I might start Bonnie and Clyde tomorrow because I'm like so far behind on it now that at this point I'm going to be listening to like 6 hours in one night, and I just really don't want to do that. And I want to give myself enough time to listen to Bonnie and Clyde. So when I get done vlogging tonight, I think I'm going to listen to like an hour of Interview with the Vampire. I knew the other night, I was like, I should just start Bonnie and Clyde instead of Interview with the Vampire. I should probably just go in tonight and start it, because we're doing the live stream for Bonnie and Clyde on Sunday. And I don't want to be rushing to get it done on Saturday night. I just don't want to do that. I want to like have it done ahead of time. And if I start listening to it now, I think I broke it down to like 6 hours if I listen to it at 2 times 5 speed. I think that's what it is. And so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. comes out to like an hour and 10 minutes or something like that a day if I start listening to it tomorrow. So I think that's what I'll do. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. And then I'll have that done by Saturday. And then even if I get a day behind, you know, it's 2 hours. It's an hour extra I'd have to catch up on, which isn't too bad. So I'm gonna do that. I'm really liking Interview with the Vampire. I really didn't think that I would. There was something that I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about today, and now I don't remember what it was. It was something that happened like after I got done vlogging today. And I was like, oh, I want to talk about this in my vlog, and now I don't remember what it is. I have no idea. I feel like it happened like right after I got done vlogging today. And I was like, what am I going to, or I want to talk about this in my vlog. What was it that I wanted to talk about? I don't know. I had a good day today. I got a lot of stuff done that I wanted to get done. I got a lot of stuff done today. So when I got done vlogging, I started the video for Peter Does Stuff by going, I went to this first Target, and then I went to Crumble Cookies and I did my Crumble Cookies review. Then I went to the second Target. Then I went to the third Target. Then I picked up, I think that's what I was going to talk about, was the Costco. Then I went to go pick up Tucker's medicine, and Costco was packed, like absolutely packed. And people were buying all kinds of stuff because of the storm that is supposedly coming. And so I got done with that. Oh, then I went to the post office. I think maybe that's what I wanted to say. The boxes are in the back. I got the 2 packages. I was gonna actually start vlogging from the kitchen tonight, like earlier, but Alex is asleep, and I was gonna open the packages. So I don't know that I'll have a chance to do that either. So tomorrow or Wednesday, I will open the packages on here. Well, I'll open the packages and then I'll show them on here. Because I'm going to take them in when I had a bunch of stuff I had to carry in earlier, so that's why I didn't take them in. So I'm going to take them in when I get home from vlogging, and then open them, and then I'll show them tomorrow. So I'm so excited for that. And the post office wasn't busy today, so I did that. And then what else did I do? I did something else. I had a bunch of errands to run today. And then I got home, and we were having our literature meeting at 8 o'clock tonight. And our one friend has been gone for 2 weeks. 2 weeks or just 1 week? Maybe just 1 week. And she was there tonight, so it was all of us, which was really nice. We talked about anger as a character defect. That was the part that we read and dropped the rock tonight. And it was just a really good meeting, and I lit some candles in the house. And it was real cozy. And then usually after the literature group, like, I'll text Tanya and I'll be like, you know, do you want to go get a fountain or something? And I just was really tired at that point. So I just went to lay in bed. And then she actually called me when she was leaving. That's when she called me, was when she was leaving Meyer. I thought my sleep schedule was screwed up before, but it's like really screwed up now. I'm going to bed at 10 and waking up at 4 in the morning, and I'm like awake. Like, I'm like awake right now. Like, I'm like rested and awake. So I don't know what to do about all that, but and then tomorrow, oh, and then I filmed obviously a bunch of like, I came home and And I started getting up all of those videos today, and then I filmed a drama video, and I filmed a Peterisms video. And I wanted to do a video talking about the Joan Didion book, but I didn't have time to do that. So maybe tomorrow, we'll see. Or tomorrow I might do like my wrap up for January. And then, what else? Tomorrow I have a bunch of stuff to do too, because we have our meeting tomorrow night. And I do want to go to the grocery store to get some stuff in case it does snow. I'm not going to buy a bunch of stuff because personally I just don't want to have a bunch of crap around the house. And then, you know, like I said, us not like have any... I thought it would be kind of fun, you know, to have like a frozen pizza and, you know, some stuff and whatever. But like, I don't want to have a ton of stuff and then us not have any kind of like weather where we're stuck at home and then I just have all of that food because I'll want to end up eating that food, you know. So, but I do want to go to the store and get a few things tomorrow. So I'll do that tomorrow and then film videos. And then get ready and go to my meeting tomorrow night. And then wake up Wednesday morning to the snow. I should bring my camera tomorrow night with me so that as soon as I get done with my meeting that I can start vlogging so that I don't have to be out late. I don't know, because people are saying that it's supposed to be sleeting and raining tomorrow night. If it's sleeting and raining, Tanya won't want to go to the meeting. But if it's not, then we'll go. But I don't think it's supposed to start for us until Wednesday morning, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, there's my press conference. There's my catch up. I was listening to that song before I started vlogging tonight. The song is called, right now, my iTunes is shuffling. It's Shelter by Phineas. I love that song. Be Without You by Mary J. Blige. I love that song. If the World Was Ending by J.P. Sachs and Julia Michaels. Do you guys know that song? I actually did a whole video about it on my Peter Does Stuff channel. Because I was driving around one night and I just got so emotional. It was like, well, not one night, it was one afternoon, and I got so emotionally moved listening to that song. I just kind of kept on listening to it on repeat. It's that song, I don't know if you've heard it, but it's like, if the world was ending, you'd come over, right? I was distracted and in traffic. I didn't feel it when the earthquake happened. Do you know that song? I love that song so much. And I don't know what it is about that song, but I get like so into my emotions when I listen to that song. And I was thinking about it tonight. It's so weird because we recently watched that movie Don't Look Up. And I know a lot of people have like mixed emotions about that movie, and a lot of people said they thought it was really dumb and whatever. I actually thought it was really good. But I have to tell you, the end of that movie really screwed with me. Like, really, really screwed with me. I mean, I was like almost... like, I just really got very upset at the end of that movie. I don't do real well, and I think it's because I've had a lot, you know, like a lot of loss in my life. And, I don't know, I just don't do well with this idea of endings. And, it was really interesting, like, the last time that I talked, I know it was a really nice comment. I mean, it wasn't from a place of negativity at all. It was just like a really like loving comment that I received. But the last time that I talked about my mom on here and I got like really emotional, somebody said, you know, I really think that you need to seek some kind of help for your depression because it's just very obvious that you're depressed. I think like it's really important for me to normalize on my channel feeling feelings and feeling emotions. You know, I didn't for a long time. I stuffed my emotions down. I hid my emotions. I didn't allow myself to feel my emotions. In fact, really until I came back into the rooms of recovery after 4 years of not going to meetings, you know, it was then that I allowed myself to feel my feelings, and I would sit in meetings and I would cry, and I really felt the loss of my mom, you know? But before that, I really didn't. I just never was a highly emotional person, whether that was joy or sadness or any of the 500 emotions in between, you know? I just was very flat, honestly, a lot of the time. And when I came back from not going to meetings for a while, for 4 years, and I started really talking about stuff that mattered to me instead. This Peter that you hear in vlogs today is not the Peter of 15 years ago. You know, I wasn't able to talk about things like this. I wasn't able to have conversations about things that brought me pain or things that brought me joy. I wasn't able to openly cry about things that brought me pain and things that brought me joy and sadness and loss. And, you know, like I was talking in a video the other day and I said that I cry. It was my Q&A that I did, and I talked about how I cried more from joy today in my life than I do from pain, which is true, or sadness. You know, I cry more out of joy and happiness of things that overwhelm me from a joyous point of view. But I also do still, my nose is driving me crazy, you guys. I put these napkins over here this van, I cannot believe it, you guys. This van is still sitting here on the side of the road. Look at that. But I do cry about things that bring me sadness. And I'm very, very thankful that I am able to do that today. And honestly, part of the reason why I'm able to do that is because I did talk about things in therapy. And I did allow myself to feel emotions that I thought, oh, people don't want to see you cry, or people don't want to see you get upset. Because I think that much of the reason why we don't show our emotions, you know, we can sit in a car and cry. We can sit in our bedrooms with the doors closed and we can cry. But to sit in a boardroom, or to sit in, you know, a movie theater, or to sit in our friend's living room, or, you know, in the company of other people and allow ourselves to feel emotion and cry, like, that's not acceptable in our society. It's not okay, right? Like, boys don't cry kind of idea, right? But it's just adults don't cry. Like, we don't allow ourselves that kind of emotion. And when I read that comment the other day, that was very much kind of how I felt. It was like somebody was saying, because you cry, you need to seek some help for depression. I am very, very in tune with my mental health. I can guarantee you that if I was somebody that felt like I was suffering from any kind of, because there is a difference between being sad and having clinical depression. And I think that it's really important, because what we have done in our society by people interchanging those terms on a regular basis, you know, we all do it, right? But we have minimized people that suffer from clinical diagnosable depression. I think that in talking about loss in our lives, no matter what the time limit is on that loss, because that's the other thing. Then if somebody says, well, you shouldn't be sad anymore, then what they're telling you is, I know better than you do the timing of your own grief. Grief can be 30 years. Grief can be 50 years, you know? And you should never allow somebody else to tell you how long, or how long, or the boundaries of what your grief should look like. But I'm very thankful that I can feel emotion today. I sometimes, like, when I think sometimes I have to think about things more before I can get real emotional about them, like with that movie, Don't Look Up. You know, the idea of the world being over completely, and us being aware of that. It is really synonymous with death, right? The great unknown, the great beyond. When you have in your life, first of all, I do want to say this. For anybody that feels overcome with emotion to a point where they don't feel like they can function, I think that's a great time to see counseling and, you know, see a therapist. And if I ever felt like I needed to, trust me, I would tomorrow. You know, if I felt like it was really stopping me from being able to move forward. And like I said, I know that the comment that the person left me was all in love and care, and it was like just saying, like, Peter, like, you know, you seem very upset, like maybe this has crossed into a line of depression and you should see somebody for that. But I think it's important to look at what that roadmap for me looked like, and for me it was an inability to be able to feel emotion, where I almost feel more humanly connected today. I almost feel more connected to my soul when I do, like, allow myself to get very emotional, whether it's listening to a song or watching a movie or just really feeling some pain or loss about a certain situation, you know? I don't, you know, tonight in my literature group, we all, not just the whole time, but all of us at some moment during our sharing of that were crying. And it wasn't out of sadness or depression. It was about the human equalizer of relating to one another and sharing our experiences of what we were talking about our parents tonight in there. And, you know, we were talking about this idea of seeing our parents as children and forgiving our parents for things that happened while we were growing up, because they never wanted that for when they were children of their own. What were their dreams? What were their aspirations? And if you can see your own parents as children, you know. And so we were each talking about that tonight, and it was and bringing a lot of emotion. So if I talk about that and I cry in relation to seeing my mother as a small child, you know, that probably suffered a lot of abuse, and then years later is responding to that in her adult life. Or if I look at my dad, you know, that was the youngest of 5 and very, very poor, and had a lot of dreams and aspirations, and was just a guy that didn't have a lot of direction given to him by anybody, because nobody in his family had ever left Fort Wayne, Indiana, or, you know, gone to college or anything like that. You know, so here's my dad who had to become this confident young man. I mean, how can I fault my dad for, you know, maybe not leading me in the direction that I wanted when, you know, like, he didn't have a roadmap for what that looked like, as my sponsor said to me one time. And so we were talking about that tonight, about having compassion and kindness and love and understanding for our parents. And we were each, you know, like getting emotional talking about that. I don't think that means or indicates that I need counseling as a result of that. I think that's a healthy response. And I think that if more of us could really get in tune with our emotions. People are afraid of emotions, you know? People don't like to show their emotions. I have some very, very close friends of mine that I've only seen cry maybe a few times. In very rare situations, you know? And they don't like to cry, they don't like to show emotion. And that's how they live their life. And I think that there are a lot of people that are very uncomfortable with emotion. This is probably not the place for you, I would just say. But I did appreciate that comment. But I also think it's important to normalize the ability to feel our emotions and express our emotions, whether that's in laughter or, you know, screams of joy or tears or, you know, just, you know, it's interesting because sometimes when I get super excited about stuff, you know, I'll be like, oh my God, we're getting a winter storm. It's like that almost kind of receives the same kind of response from people that tears do. People don't know what to do with that overexcitement. Like, I get really overly excited. You know, it's like, planning this girls trip. Like, I got so excited that night. And, you know, they were excited, but definitely I don't think as excited as I was, you know? And it's like, I don't know, there's this just excitement that I get about things in the world, you know, about snow days and binge watching. You know, like the other night when Alex and I were watching RuPaul's Drag Race, we're sitting there eating food, and I was like, I love this, you know, we just get to see, you know, it's just like I get so excited about stuff. And it really, I've allowed myself to feel connected to the world around me, you know, and it makes everything, it's like looking at the world with a new pair of glasses kind of thing, you know. It's like I see things in a completely different way now. It is weird though, in talking about loss, like, you know, and talking about like my mom being gone. It's, you know, what it is today. It's not so much about my mom being gone or my aunt being gone or my uncle being gone or my friend Jimmy being gone or, you know, my friend Duke being gone or whatever. It's like, you guys, it's collectively how many people I have lost. You know, 2 exes of mine are gone. It's like, and I was telling somebody, I think I was even talking to Alex about that the other day when we were like eating, I think it was when we were at brunch, and I was saying how bizarre it is when people from your youth pass away, and it's almost kind of like there's not really anybody there to commemorate your youth a little bit. You know, like when my mom, you know, and my dad were like my age, like, and their friends would visit and stuff like that. It was like they would talk about the old times. They would talk about being in college or, you know, and whatever. Well, that's part of it for me, I think, is like, you know, when I was in college, it was like part of that was my drinking years. And so those people that I hung out with in early college, I didn't hang out with when I got sober. And so then when I got sober, I was hanging out with different people, but really just my boyfriend and my roommate. And so it was a completely, I mean, that was college going into graduate school, because that was really like my first job, you know, coincided with that. And so like, I don't really have those, like, college friends, do you know what I mean? Like, that I did, like, that it stopped. The other thing was, I went to a city school, which is totally different. I don't really know how to explain it, but it just is. The experience is different. You know, it's different than going into a campus and living in a house with people and, you know, living and being in a fraternity or a sorority. I mean, it's just a completely different scenario. So when my parents had that at my age, you know, like my dad, his fraternity brother that passed away, like, you know, either like when we would go down there and visit him or whatever, and my dad was how old was I when my dad was my age? So I was 22 years old. That is so weird to me. That is so weird to me. I was my dad's age. I am my dad's age at the year that I got sober. Well, I was 50. Or he was 50. Because I was 28 when he was born. 28 going on 29. Like, I was born and then 2 months later my dad turned 29. So 50, 51. God, that seems weird to me. I'm doing the math correctly, right? You know, and then I got sober, and so then, like, the people that I hung out with were mostly people that, like, I've known I mean, for the last 20 years, you guys, it's been this kind of the same people in and out. You know, this group of friends that Tanya and I were friends with, you know, before Tanya, and then I wasn't that close with anybody except for my girlfriend that moved away, and I don't really talk to her much anymore, the one that got sober on New Year's. And so I love when people just put big chairs by the side of the road. Indianapolis for the trash to pick up. Those chairs were nice though, too. But I don't know, it's just a weird situation, like getting sober, and like it's different friendships, you know, it's like. And so anyway, Tanya and I, you know, we hung out with the same people for 15, 20 years or whatnot. Now a lot of those people are gone. Like, we don't talk to those. I mean, they're not gone. I mean, some of them are, but you know, my old sponsor passed away, and a couple other people moved, and a couple people went back out, and you know, when I was getting my master's degree, it was like I was with my first boyfriend and my roommate, and getting your master's degree at a school like I did, like, you know, in Indianapolis, because IU, School of Social Work, was in Indianapolis for all the practicums and the internships, but I've talked about that a million times. So, it wasn't like I hung out with people from graduate school. Like, we might go get a cup of coffee, and I worked with this one other guy. He and I worked together that we were both getting our master's degrees. But he was like a tech, and I was like a counselor in training when we were getting our master's degrees. But like at work and stuff, we would like talk and hang out. But we were so completely different. He was a really nice guy. I actually just saw something about him. We're friends on Facebook. And saw something about him the other day. He has like 3 kids now. He and his wife are like super hippie-ish, and he has like his own practice and stuff. But Yeah, like, I mean, I was close with people that I was in classes with, because we would, like, see each other every day in class and talk, and there were, like, a lot of, like, group projects that we did in graduate school and stuff, and it was, like, really, like, only, like, 100 students in my program. I don't even know how many students it was, but, I mean, it was small because it was a 2-year program, right? But it wasn't like any of us were that close, like, that we went out and did stuff together, you know? The way that you got close with people is if you had, like, practicum internships with people. Like, I talked about the internship that I've had at the elementary school. You know, I was close with some of those people. But, oh, that was the other thing. The one woman that I worked with, I feel like I was just telling this story a couple weeks ago, but the one woman that I was working with in that internship, yeah, I was telling this story because she and I did the group together based on the 10 Good Thing About Barney. Wasn't I just telling that story on here? The group that we did for kids who lost siblings to gang warfare. So she and I worked together, actually, in treatment. And I remember she was a year ahead of me in school. But I remember we used to have to do visitation together on the weekends. We would talk about our class stuff. But other than like that, or going to do volunteer stuff, or interacting with people in the community, or whatever, or seeing somebody randomly out, it wasn't like I hung out with people that I was in graduate school with. I don't really know how to explain that experience to people, you know, like, so the school that I went to was Indiana University, Purdue University in Indianapolis. So it's like a satellite school. It's huge now. It's huge. I mean, it is on the level of IU or Purdue. Back when I was going to school there to get my bachelor's degree, it had an okay reputation. It wasn't anything great. It wasn't a community college. It wasn't like a junior college. I mean, it was a 4-year college, but not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was a 4-year college, and it was really well known for like the law school, the medical school. My dad was on the board of the medical school for a long time, but it was a city school, you know. It wasn't like you go to a campus. I stayed there and went there because I was really afraid at the last minute, you know, some of these things that I really wanted to do, like go to fashion school and whatever. I got terrified of moving. I was really ruled by fear, and so I stayed. I've talked a lot about my undergraduate school with my friend and I, me carrying wasn't I just talking about my screenwriting class in here not too long ago? I don't know why I remember that. I wrote that lipstick kid story into the screenwriting thing, but anyway, into the screenplay. So I stayed here, but here's the thing. It's like, it's different because, you know, when you go to a school like IUPUI, well, so anyway, then a lot of the graduate programs for either Indiana University or Purdue University are in Indianapolis because of the internships or the practicums or the professors or instructors and whatever. So like the med school is here, the law school is here, Heron School of Art is here, and the School of Social Work. There's a School of Social Work in IU Bloomington, but the School of Social Work to get the master's degree at that time, and I believe still so now, I believe it still is now, is in Indianapolis because all of like the internship practicums were in Indianapolis, or there were more of them here than there were in Bloomington. What was I going to say? Oh, the thing is this about going to a school like IUPUI is that the average age of the classroom would be like, for bachelor's degree, I would say it was like 50% of the class would be, I don't even know if it was 50. I would say like a third of the class was average college age, like 22, you know, anywhere from like 18 to 22. I would say a third of the class. Like whatever class you're in, whether it's, you know, Psych 101 or, you know, English Comp 101 or whatever class, you know, finite math. I've talked a lot about that on here. Whatever class you had to take, I would say a third of it was like average college age. Then another third, I would say, would be people that were in their late 20s to 35, 40, that were people that had waited to go to college or had a career and were coming back because maybe their job required them to have college education or something like that, right? And then the last group, that was the second third. And then the last third of people were people that this was like their second career in life. And I was just like, did that shop close down? It's this t-shirt shop that I've always wanted to go to. They have like Deer Creek t-shirts and stuff in there. But anyway, you know, and so you'd be in class with, I mean, true story, you guys, like 60 and 70-year-olds. And it was cool. It was really cool, you know, because you'd be in class with people who were going back, had never gone to college before. Graduate school was very similar to that. I wouldn't say the aging was the same with graduate school. I would say the first half, I went to graduate school with a lot of people that went from their BSW right into their MSW. So now all of a sudden I'm craving coffee. I'm gonna go to Dunkin' Donuts and get a coffee. What you could do at IUPUI if you applied to the program and you got in was there was a different program. They still went to the same classes and stuff as us. But if you were a bachelor in social work student and you graduated like in May and you got into the MSW program, what you would do is you would go in and you would do your first internship summer before we started classes, and you would take classes that summer in addition to that. So, because the first internship and practicum are interchangeable terms. They just mean an internship. So, the first internship that we did was shorter. I think it was like 20 hours a week. So that first summer session, what they would do is they would graduate in May, and then they would go right into the graduate program. And that summer, summer 1 and summer 2, they would do 20 hours a week of this internship practicum. And then, I don't know why I can't get away from saying that word when it's just the same thing. But anyway, and then they would take 2 classes a session too. Does that make sense? So by the time that they started in the fall, they were a whole semester ahead. And then what happened was they would go right into basically their second, like where my second year started, they started that fall with their second year. And so they would do like a year and a summer program that was built in straight from a bachelor's in social work. But see, I didn't have any of that. So I went from a bachelor's degree in my undergraduate, I have a BA in English. So my bachelor's degree was in English. So when I went in and I took these classes in my graduate program, like a lot of these classes, I had never had any of this before. Like I didn't know any of these, a lot of this social, like systems theory and stuff like that. Like I didn't know any of this stuff. So it was all new to me. I found it very, very interesting. But, so yeah, my program was 2 years, but there were a lot of people that were BSW students that went right into their master's in social work degree program, and their program was only like a year program. And so they were young, and they were like 22, you know? And, but then, I would say it was half students that, how old was I when I graduated? So I graduated in 1999, so I was 27. I felt average age when I was getting my master's degree, a little bit. Well, there were, like I said, there were a lot of students that were younger, but then the other half of students were people that had been working in the field like myself, that went back to get their master's degrees. I think more people today get their master's degrees as soon as they graduate from a bachelor's with their bachelor's degree. But back then, it wasn't so much like that. I mean, in the mid to late 90s, I think it was more people were getting, like, they were working in the field and then they were getting their master's degrees. And I can actually remember when I was working, and I can remember thinking to myself, somebody that I had as a, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was like, in 10 years, they're going to require everybody to have a master's degree. And I was like, no, they're not. Like, all you needed to have was a bachelor's degree when I started as a tech, right? And, but then I can remember I was like, I'm going to go get my master's degree. Like, this is what I want to do. And I was one of the first MSWs on our unit, or MSW students. In fact, I remember this is really strange, but they were downsizing. There was a period of time where the unit, like the unit that I worked on, was not doing well, and as far as like numbers and stuff, and hadn't for quite some time. And it has to do with Medicaid rehabilitation option. They changed like MRO patients and their coding and all this kind of stuff, and so we were no longer getting these patients for a period of time, and so they really downsized our program, and they went from like one counselor on the inpatient unit, two counselors to one counselor, two counselors to one counselor on the outpatient unit and stuff. And I can remember this girl that I worked with, and she had an associate's degree, and I had a bachelor's degree, and I had just started. It was like my first year starting on my master's degree, and they were having this meeting, and they told us, they said, they took us all into this meeting, and they said, some of you today will be given promotions and some of you will be let go. And I was terrified. And I remember we got out, and this girl that I worked with, she was very nice, but she just thought she was better than everybody else. Oh, the battery is flashing. And she always brought, like, I remember she always brought like all these cookies and stuff from Roslyn Bakery and everything to our clinical meetings. So I think that she really thought she had an in with these people or something. I don't know. But so I remember we walked out, and I was like really upset. I was like, I'm getting fired today. Like, they were gonna, because they were downsizing, they were getting rid of us, a lot of us. And I remember she came over to me and she said, and just know that when they let you go today, it's not because you aren't important to this program, because we really care a lot about you. It's just that you don't have as much experience as the rest of us. She had literally been there like 6 months longer than me. And so they took us in, they were going to take us in one by one into this room and let us know our outcome. They took her in first, and she came out sobbing, and then they escorted her out of the building, and she had been terminated. They got rid of her position, and I got a promotion. I will tell you something interesting, though. She ended up working for the Department of Corrections in the prison system, and she ended up getting a really amazing job and long-term career working there. And then that was when I was promoted to, they created the position for me of doing the liaison between treatment and the Department of Corrections. And that was when I was getting my master's degree. And they told me at the time, they said, the reason that we kept you, because it came down to the two of you, and because you guys were the ones that had the least experience on our team, and the reason we kept you over her was because you were getting your master's degree, and she only had an associate's degree. And I was one of the first ones that had a master. I think I was the first one that had a master's degree in our unit. I'm almost positive I was. There were, well, I was the first counselor that did. There were two other women that worked on our unit indirectly that were getting their, they were a year ahead of me when they were getting their master's degree. This one woman I haven't thought of forever. I wonder what she is doing today. She was so nice and supportive, and I can remember when I was filling out my application and doing my essays for my master's program, she was like so supportive, and she was like, I'm gonna talk to these professors. She was so cool. She was like, I'm gonna talk to these professors about, they have to have you here, and she was such a neat woman. Okay, let me change the battery and I'm gonna go through, get some coffee. Hold on a second. All right. You know what I just realized? This is the first vlog of February. I mean, not really, because it's January 31st vlog, but I mean, it is kind of the first vlog of January, you know what I mean? I hardly ever go through and get coffee anymore when I go through places. I kind of want a brown sugar.
Good morning, how may I help you?
Could I please get a brown sugar oat latte?
I'm sorry, that's been discontinued, but we do still have the French vanilla.
Let me actually just do a medium coffee.
Hot coffee?
Yeah.
Favorite sugar?
No, thank you.
Medium hot black, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
See you at the window.
Thank you. They literally just came out with that like a month ago. Their Starbucks is right there. Is that not so funny? You guys look. Like, here's Dunkin' Donuts. And then look. There's Starbucks. Is that not so funny? They're like right across the road from each other. And you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I prefer Dunkin' Donuts. How are you doing? All right. Thank you. Good. It's early. Yes. Thank you. Have a good one. Anyway. Coffee in the morning. I can't believe it's February. Okay, so February, March, April, May. We have 4 months until the pool opens. I'm gonna go circle around. I want to see how Starbucks is doing this morning. Oh man. I thought Starbucks opened at 6. I didn't know that they opened at 5:30 or 5. But apparently they do. I don't like dislike Starbucks. Like, I still love Starbucks. And like in the summer, an iced coffee or whatever, like it still sounds so good even right now. Like, I wanted that oat milk, whatever thing that they had, brown sugar oat milk from Dunkin' Donuts, but it just looked good to me tonight. But I'm bummed. I think right now, while I've been drinking hot coffee more, I just think that I prefer to drink hot coffee over, especially in the winter, you know? It's so funny, like, the fact that I've gotten into this whole thing of, like, drinking iced coffee. Okay, this is how it all happened. So, I remember, like, iced coffee wasn't even a thing in Indianapolis. Like, I can remember the very first time going to Speedway gas station. I don't know if you guys remember this back in the day, but they came out with, like, iced coffee at the gas station, and I got so excited about it. And you put it in, like, the same glass that like a Slurpee came in or whatever, right? You could put it like in the same kind of cup. It's like a Slurpee or it wasn't like the same glass as like a fountain pop, but it was like one of those kind of plastic glasses. But it was expensive, even for like Speedway. It was like a couple dollars. And I was like, oh, this is so expensive. And it was super sugary, and it came in like, you just like pumped this thing. Do you guys remember that? I loved it. Well, there was a day before Starbucks existed. I know it's hard to believe, but like, I don't even remember me first starting to go to Starbucks. I don't remember when that was. I know that my mom and I, like when we would go Christmas shopping in Edinburgh, or we would go to Gatlinburg, Tennessee or whatever, like we would stop at gas stations and we would get those. We would get pumpkin, you know how they talk about pumpkin spice lattes? Well, prior to Starbucks ever having them that I remember, you could just go to a gas station and you would get that fake cappuccino crap, you know? And my mom and I would get those pumpkin spice lattes, and she'd always go, this tastes so good. She loved those fake mochaccino cappuccinos that you get at the gas station. My mom loved them. You know, the ones that are like 800 calories. So 800, probably 1,200. So anyway, she would get so excited about those. My mom and I would get them, but I don't remember when Starbucks started, and I definitely don't remember when I started going to Starbucks on a regular basis. I do know that when I worked, well, Starbucks would have started before I quit working, and I quit, well, obviously, but I quit working in treatment in 2008. But when I would leave there, because I'm thinking of that story about when I've told that story on here a lot, of when I saw my professor at the Starbucks. So that was several years before I quit. Two to 3 years before I quit. So that would have been, I don't know, 2006, 2005. I honestly don't know when I started going to Starbucks. I don't really have any recollection of like me going for the first time or anything. I do know this, that the reason that I started drinking the iced coffee, I don't even know what I got before. Isn't that so funny? Like, I have no memory of what I got before at Starbucks, but well, I do know that one thing that was very important for me is I wanted that gold card. So I did spend enough money there to get the gold card. I do remember that. But do you guys know what I'm talking about? The gold, like, rewards card that you put money on and stuff. So anyway, now that you have the app, but the gold card was really important to me for a long time. So I can remember when I got it in the mail. I was so excited about it. But I had read an article about Jessica Simpson. I've told this before, I think, on here. If not on here, then on my review channel. I know I've told this story before, about how Jessica Simpson had lost all this weight, and one of the ways that she had lost weight was that she had changed her Starbucks order, and so she drank a venti iced coffee with one Splenda, or one Equal, or I don't even know if we had Splenda back then, one Equal, I think. And that was when I switched my drink, and I started drinking a venti iced coffee with one Equal, and that was my drink from then on. And then when David, Caroline's son, this was like 2 years ago, was working at Starbucks, he worked there for like 6 months, he told me that I should, instead of the iced coffee, I should get the blonde Americano. So I started ordering a venti iced blonde Americano with an extra shot, and there was a period that I did a venti iced coffee with I think sometimes I did 2 extra shots. I think it's called like a red eye or a black, I don't know what it's called, but anyway. That's how I started drinking the iced coffee at Starbucks. Before that, I never drank iced coffee. I always drank hot coffee. And still love hot coffee to this day, obviously, as I'm about to drink some. This cup is so hot, you guys. Woo! There's something about getting a cup of coffee. I was like, it's so funny what this coffee reminds me of. It reminds me of so many things. It reminds me of you go and speak at different places in sobriety and you tell your story, you know? And through the years, it's like Tanya and I have gone to so many different places, or like treatment facilities and halfway houses and whatever, and I've gone with other people, and it's like there's something always about getting a cup of hot coffee on the way to going to do that, and then filling it up on the way back, like at that place. Like they'll fill up, they'll get coffee for you. That this reminds me of. I don't know why, it just does. All of my friends are watching that Single Drunk Female, and everybody loves it. Everybody's like, they had a new episode come out this week. Yeah, all my friends are watching it, and they're like, it's so good, it's so accurate. Cynthia Bailey from the Real Housewives of Atlanta was on. Did I say that on here earlier in the week? It's really good. And I'm watching La Brea. I'm like a couple episodes into La Brea. And then, I think I'm on like the 3rd episode. And then I'm on the 4th episode or 5th episode. I think 4th episode of Cheer. So I'm going to try to finish that the next couple days. It's good though. I'm looking forward to the spring and summer. I'm looking forward to our traveling. I'm looking forward to just hanging out at the house with my dogs and my husband, and going to the pool. I'm trying to go to the pool a lot this summer. It's my goal. I gotta decide if I want to get my membership again to the pool that Tanya and I went to last summer. I got to figure out if I want to do that again or not. I'm sure I probably will. I don't even know why I sit here and act like I'm not sure if I want to or not when I know that I'm going to do it. Like, you know I'm going to do it. You know I have to do it so that I can go to the country club with the country club. Listen to the pool with Tanya Jean. She gets enough guest passes that I could just use hers. And last summer, a true story, I know, but this is the thing. Like, I was going to say last summer, like, I didn't really use any of the passes. Alex didn't use his pass not one time last summer. You know, it was silly for me to, but whatever. It was fun. And I know now going into this summer how to do it. Like, I know, like, the days that I would use it and getting up early and going there and stuff like that. Like, I know how I'm going to do it this next summer. So, yeah. It does make it more convenient, though, to just go to the pool in my neighborhood. But I will say this, I want to have it in case, like, Tanya or somebody goes, and then I can just, like, show up there without being like, can I use your free passes? But it is convenient having the pool in my neighborhood, because I can film a couple videos in the morning, go lay out by the pool, or go get in the pool for 3 or 4 hours, and then I can come back and I can make videos in the afternoon. So it's so much more convenient, you know? Anyway, listen, I think I'm gonna start getting off here and start listening to a little bit of, I'm like, should I listen to Interview with the Vampire, or should I just, like, stop it now while I'm still early enough and just listen to the Bonnie and Clyde? I'm kind of really in the mood to listen to the Interview with the Vampire, though. Isn't that so funny? I didn't think I'd be that excited to listen to it, and I really like it. I guess I could listen to them simultaneously, but that's like 30 hours of an audiobook that I have to finish, and that's not gonna happen. We know that's not gonna happen. We know that, don't we? So anyway, I'm gonna get off here now. if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Practice random acts of well, you can start your day over whenever you want. Practice random acts of kindness, and most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. And for the last time in January, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Oh, and for those that need to hear it, those that want to hear it, and those that just happen to stick around, one more I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Happy birthday, Lena.